What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I put a brand new video. In this video today, I'm talking about a particular defensive tackle, maybe my favorite pick from last year's draft, and Mr. Travis Jones in the 3rd round. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the season that he's going to have, your thoughts on the workout videos that were just released with him, and your thoughts on the defensive tackle position with the Baltimore Ravens as a whole. Because Calais Campbell, who's been a starting interior defensive lineman for the Ravens for the last few seasons, was cut by the Ravens, and there were thoughts maybe the Ravens would potentially bring him back if they were able to create the cap flexibility and get the money back. But now Calais has gone over to the Atlanta Falcons, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he has a scheduled visit with the Bills. I think he's talked with the Jets as well. He's talking to multiple teams that want to bring him in. So it doesn't look like Calais is going to be able to return to the Baltimore Ravens. And so what does that mean? That means the Ravens have an open hole on the defense that someone can step into. Now, I'm not saying it's a hole that we don't have anybody that can play it. It's a hole in the fact that we don't know who will play it. Unlike wide receiver, unlike cornerback 2, this is something where, okay, let's see who we have. Maybe we draft somebody to fill it, but I don't think we do because we have a couple of players. We have Travis Jones, we have Broderick Washington, and obviously I think the starter at the defensive tackle position, we're going to have Justin Madubuike out there. But the Ravens typically are going to have 2 players playing on the interior, and the guys can shift outside to the wide. This isn't a base, 4-3, right? The Ravens run a multitude of different sets. They'll throw Justin Madubuike out wide. They'll throw Travis Jones out wide. They'll throw these guys out wide, into the 3-tech, 5-tech kind of, alignments and things like that. But when you're looking at it, and the Ravens defense, and what they want to have is they want to have those 2 interior defensive linemen that are able to stop the run, but also able to generate enough pressure to where it's not, oh, you see them, hey, this is going to be an easy pass. And I think Justin Madubuike does a very good job with that. He's decent against the run. He's able to fill up the hole, but he also is able to get enough pressure to where I think teams aren't looking at him like they look at Brandon Williams, right? Remember Brandon Williams? Team saw Brandon Williams on the field and they were like, all right, yep, put him in one-on-one. We're going to be chilling if we pass the ball right here. The Ravens don't want to have that. This is a passing league. You go against Burrow, you go against Mahomes, you go against Josh Allen. They're going to see that. They're going to be like, all right, you're going to disrespect me like that? Let's throw the ball. So outside of Justin Madubuike, who I think is solid, I think he is a solid defensive tackle. I think he's a solid interior player. I think if you look at, every team in the NFL, he's probably starting on every single one of them. Maybe there's a couple that he doesn't. The 49ers have a really good interior line, so maybe he doesn't start there, but I think he's solid, right? I think he's an average starter. He's shown flashes to be very good, but that's okay. I think people get kind of upset whenever I say things like, hey, I think this guy's solid. Doesn't mean that they're bad. Like, solid is good. You can't expect every player to be a superstar, right? As much as I would love Justin Madubuike to be Aaron Donald, he's not. All right. And you don't need to have a top 4 defensive tackle, right? And you look at the top 4, it's Aaron Donald, Buck, DeForest Buckner, it's Chris Jones. And, if you want to throw Fletcher Cox in there, you can, right? Those are kind of the top guys. You don't have to be one of those guys to be good. And so I want to say that for every position, right? Except for maybe quarterback, where you really do need, that superstar to be a contender. If you have guys that are just solid everywhere, that's good enough. So opposite of him, I think we have a guy in Travis Jones that does have the potential to be maybe, I think he has the potential to be, top 4 or whatever, but I think he could very well be top 10, right? I think he could be a Pro Bowler, a multiple-time Pro Bowler, and Mr. Travis Jones. I love Travis Jones coming out of the draft. You guys know that. You can look back on the channel. I made a scouting report on Travis Jones and a player breakdown before he was ever drafted to the Ravens. The Ravens got him. I talked about him being a potential first-round pick. Right. I was very high on Travis Jones. He ended up getting injured, and that reduced his season, and it made it very difficult for him to kind of start getting in and getting reps. But last year came in, 1 sack, 14 tackles, 14 solo tackles. He had 24 tackles on the year, 1 pass defended. And I think he still played very well, even though he wasn't, wreaking havoc. This was his first few games, since college, and he missed the first part of the season. And so I really think that Travis Jones is going to be able to step up into that hole, and we don't need D tackle. Okay. When you lose a player like Calais Campbell, one of the best at his position, right? Top 10 interior defensive lineman. He may be top 5 of the last few years, potential Hall of Famer. You always feel like, okay, now how do we go replace him? I don't think we need to do that. I think we have somebody in house. And, we just saw, yesterday or this morning, videos were released of Broderick Washington and Travis Jones working out with Aaron Wallace, who works over at Texas A&M. And so, or not Texas A&M, he works at A&M, A&M Sports. But he's a defensive line coach, and he was working with those two guys, and it's like, okay, one, he's working, he's getting to work, and it kind of got on my mind. I was like, Travis Jones, yeah, I'm really high on him, and I think he could be special. So for me, when I'm looking at him, and my expectation is I think he's going to take over this as the number 1 D tackle on the Ravens this year. I think he's going to be the guy that you're seeing on first down, second down, and third down. Regardless if it's a pass or if it's a run, I think he's going to be that number 1. And why I think that is because of his ability to rush the passer. I think he's got more athleticism than a guy like Justin Madubuike. And again, Justin Madubuike is good. Me saying Travis Jones could be better is not me trying to disrespect him. I think he's good. I think he's a starter. He's not going to lose his position on the Ravens. I just think that Travis Jones has this, next level, ability that we haven't seen out of Justin Madubuike, who's been here for 3 years. And we saw the flashes last year. We saw the flashes in training camp. I mean, Travis Jones was dominating training camp, and that was against a really good offensive line. The Ravens had a great offensive line last year, especially on the interior with Powers, our rookie Linderbaum and Mr. Kevin Zeitler. And Travis Jones was giving them the work every day in practice. That's something that speaks numbers, right? If you guys didn't see it, Marlon Humphrey and Tony Jefferson were talking about Darren Waller recently on Twitter, and they're like, man, coach kept getting mad at us because we kept letting this guy beat him. And we're like, no, this guy's actually good. When you go up against players in practice that are elite and potential Pro Bowlers, and you stand out as a rookie, that says something, right? He's not a corner going against the Ravens receivers, right? That you're going to have success doing that. He was a defensive tackle going up against a very good offensive line with a very good run scheme, and he was able to disrupt plays consistently. And I think we're going to see that in the NFL this season. I think we're going to see him take that next leap. And I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler, unless maybe the Ravens are, one of the best teams in the NFL, the top 3 seed in the AFC or whatever. But I think he's going to be a guy that Ravens fans fall in love with this year. I think he's going to be somebody that we're going to look back in 10 years, right? And we're going to be like, man, Travis Jones was that dude, right? And this was the year, 2023 was the year that he kind of took it into his own and was able to step up. Because Ravens defensive players, a lot of times they don't, right away, year 1, start dominating. It typically takes a few years, but we start to see the flashes early on. And this year is going to be his first full season. I'm very excited for him, and he's going to be able to get more opportunities. And so that's why I think cutting Calais Campbell worked out. And I think we're going to need big numbers out of Travis Jones if we want this defense to be the best in the NFL, which it can be, right? You've got a great secondary. Even without a cornerback, too, you have a great secondary with how many good safeties and Marlon Humphrey you have. You've got one of the best linebackers in the NFL. You've got, I assume they're going to bring back some sort of veteran pass rusher like a Justin Houston. But then you also have a lot of youth. Like this is a defense that should be very good. Travis Jones is going to have to step up to make them great. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts on Travis Jones, what he's going to do this year. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.